everyone, welcome back to Bloom Through Faith. Really happy to have you all here in this space. This video is going to be on cleansing sprays, holy water sprays, things of that nature. I was feeling into it and received kind of the download to make a second video that goes hand in hand with the energetic hygiene in regards to like sleep time. And if you all haven't seen that video, I would check that one out and then come back to watch this one. But also you can watch this one first and then go to that one. It really doesn't matter. But yeah, let's jump right into it. So first I wanted to share about yesterday, June 1st, I was able to provide an energy clearing for one of my sister's new apartment. She will be working on campus this summer, and so we wanted to just make sure that she, received that, extra support since she will be living alone. And then I was also able to make a custom flower essence blend for her as well, and also a holy water cleansing spray as well. So that cleansing spray actually went hand in hand with the energetic clearing that I did. So one of the reasons why, people may make a cleansing spray is um, to really have, I would say, an option if you don't can't maybe burn a specific herb, or I don't know, burn resins depending on where you are. I know there's some locations where like you can't have candles in the dorm, you can't have like really burn anything, right? So another option would be sound. You could use sound to really shake up the energy in the room, to really cleanse the specific area in which you are going to be in, or that you are going to be living in, or working in, or just using the space in general. You kind of just want to move the energy, maybe if you feel some type of heaviness or that something has occurred in the space. But another option you could create is a spray. And for me, sprays are also really good when you're traveling. If you're in an airport, you can just spritz. If you're in a car, you can spritz. Like, it's really can be really beneficial when you're on the go. And the second thing that I wanted to share was, like, if you decide to do a cleansing spray, really setting the intention of what maybe this setting spray, or this I keep saying setting spray, but yeah, I guess it is the setting of the room, but or the setting of the space. But a cleansing spray, for maybe setting an intention for it, right? Like, what is it actually for? When you spray it, what do you actually want it to invoke? What are you wanting to feel? What are you wanting to maybe invoke in the space, So specifically for my sister's room, when I made this spray, it was really to bring in sweetness, also up to like upliftment, yeah, but also to just really remove anything that just like maybe was denser energy, or maybe if something had occurred, because that was like a space that maybe people in the past had used. And so I kind of wanted to create this clean slate for her, and also really tailor it to what she would be using it for, like the reason why she even maybe got the apartment, and like what she is like working through in her personal life, and to really invoke it to be her space, to be a sanctuary, and to be a space that provides comfort, rejuvenation, solace, peace, joy, just like a place where when she gets home from work, or when she gets home from being out and about, this is an environment that can be easeful, that can hold her, you know, as she tends to it while she's there. So there's that. So really thinking about the intention, right? Like, are you using the spray when you're going out to travel? Like if you're going into a busy airport, or if you're going into, you're going to be riding public transportation. Is it one that you want as more of, maybe as protection, or just more so to be able to stay self-contained within your own aura or within your own space? Is it one that you are, maybe inviting in new energy and like really moving the energy, and transmuting the energy out of a new space? If you're moving into a new home, if you're moving into an apartment, if you're moving into a new job, and maybe you're going to have a classroom or an office or a cubicle or something of that nature, really tuning into what is it that I actually want to cultivate? What is it that I actually want um, to grow into? What am I actually hoping for within this new space, or within this new chapter, or within this, new way of maybe even being? So that's the first thing, because oftentimes setting the intention will actually give us, a little bit more insight, and get more, like the word precision is coming up, like getting more clarity on what essences, right? What smells, um, kind of go hand in hand with what I'm calling in, right? So if I'm wanting more, um, of protection, maybe I would call in sage, or maybe I would call in, um, frankincense, or maybe I would call in, um, serrato or garlic, or things like that. That it's just more so, that it, that there is some form of, um, that it removes kind of like other energies, right? And it really helps us stay again, um, in our own aura, right? And it also, with garlic, it really removes, maybe, negative energy, different types of imprints, different types of thought forms, parasitic energy. So yeah, or maybe if I'm wanting a spray for to tap into more of my own, um, self-love, or devotion, or just being more in my body, maybe I would call in more of that grapefruit, more of that orange, that citrus, more of that jasmine. Feels very sensual, very, feminine to me. Maybe I would call in Nicotiana, that provides more of like an ease, and allow, like, just like I can breathe. So, um, yeah, just really tuning into the plants that really call you. I would call in rose. I would call in Damiana. I would call in, um, Tulsi. Like, there's just so much chamomile. There's so much that, is there. So, yeah. And so within her spray, I'll just name a few. I won't give like the specific recipe that I made, but within my sister's spray that I made, um, I had grapefruit, lemongrass, frankincense, sandalwood, cedar. Maybe you're wanting to work more with, like pine and cedar, right? And it's not because we're so used to, these smells, or these scents, or these, companions. And maybe, a cleansing spray, like that's one thing. Like, yes, maybe we're used to smelling those when we buy, if you buy the traditional, cleaning products, or home products, right? But also when you think about cedar, you think about, pine, or you think about, palm, for example. These are excuse me, these are in a way very rooted trees, um, and they provide such, like, there's such this bigger energy, right? And so, um, really tuning into the plants themselves, and tuning into yeah, like what do they actually invoke within you? Is are there certain plants that you know that you have a relationship with because you have worked with them and you built that relationship, that you know that this is when I would go to for this is when I would go to for this is what I go to when I'm not feeling well, or when I'm having, if someone is experiencing anxiety, or if someone um is maybe just is feeling a bit shy, and they actually like are trying to or maybe stepping into a new job and want to step more into courage. Like, what are these plants for you? And so getting really, really curious on what smells that what smells remind you of certain things. Um, so yeah, but yeah, those were just a couple that were in her spray. But then I also want to share, this is like the bottle. Like, I really enjoy making 1 ounce sprays, and isn't this blue just so adorable? I love it. This is my first time like purchasing a blue spray bottle. Um, but there's something about, just reminds me of royalty, or reminds me of sovereignty. Um, Yeah, it also reminds me of like the throat chakra, because I really use blue a lot for that. So it's like really speaking into uh, the water, and into the oils, and into what you like, the infusion, what you're really calling in. So, and I really love a 1 ounce bottle. I feel like you can throw this in the bag, you can put this in your car. It doesn't take up a lot of space. So this one, or even like what's like a 0.75 milliliter bottle, like that's not bad. So yeah, and then when we think about a cleansing spray, again, I'm thinking about a cleansing spray for like moving into a new space, right? So the ones that comes to mind again is I'm trying to there's a cat. There's like this neighborhood cat that always comes and visits, and so they're here now. So yeah, so I'm kind of distracted, but let me think. Um, Let me go into. I actually saved the flower, the spray, the essence. Yeah, so I had already made a spray a couple years ago. I mean, I had already made, excuse me, an essence a couple years ago, and it was going to be specifically for a spray. It had rose, mugwort, ivies, bitter nightshade. And to me, I actually wrote about this on my Instagram, and I may link it. But for me, these are really just like protectors, right? It's really, to me, that those really feel like protection, and almost as if there is like you're going into new territory, and there's like there's shielding, but from a place of like, not that we're trying to hide ourselves, or from the world, but from a place of like, no, I'm stepping forward, and you know I'm only receiving what it is that is actually in alignment with what I'm seeking, right? So everything else can fall away. And yeah, mugwort to me, a lot of people find that it's like a really dreamy plant. For me, like mugwort, it's like a protector, it's a detoxer. Um, and I love it so much. And then the ivies, like when I think about poison ivy, for example, it's just like, this is mine and this is yours. Like it's very like boundaries, and that's what like I was also calling in for the spray that I made her. That like, no, she's not sharing this spray. I mean, she's not, excuse me, sharing this space with other people, but she is in an apartment complex, and so her being able to really rest in um, rest in her own space, and allowing others to have their own experience, and others allowing her to have her own experience. So yeah, I also included Russian sage, pink yarrow, papaya, so just like different essences, right? So again, if you have a relationship with certain plants, and really sit into like, if I want to make a spray that's going to be really supportive for me, what plants do I feel called to? right? What plants do I feel called to? What smells? You know, do I feel called to sandalwood, to lemon, to lemongrass, to cedar, to juniper, to eucalyptus, to rosemary, um, to vetiver? Like really getting specific with the specific essences you want in the spray. And so yeah, and for me, I did it in like a glass. It had a plant design on it, and that's what I made her spray in. And it was, you know, water. You can use distilled water. You can use spring water. Use, you know, water that you have. You can bless it. You can speak to it because, you know, water actually has memory, and you can speak to your water. And you can actually charge it with the intentions that you are, you know, that you are really wanting to be in the essence, be in the spray, especially in the end product when you actually use it in the environment that you are creating it for. And then you would put your essences, your essential oils in there. And then if you want to put any essences like flower essences, and if you don't have the specific flower essences that you're working with, or that you want to bring into the spray, you can actually, what I was saying is that you can actually print off pictures of the flowers that you want to go into the spray, and then really like call in the devas of the flowers, call in the spirits of the flowers to be infused in the spray. So yeah, that's all that I really wanted to share. And the last thing I also wanted to say is this, you know, this can also tie into, again, that energetic hygiene of like making sprays for specific maybe rites of passage that you are walking through, maybe certain routines or rituals or ceremonies. Maybe you can have one or create one for bedtime, or when you're getting in the car. Maybe you have a lot of stress. Maybe there's a lot of stress, or just even not even stress. Maybe even annoyance from other drivers on the road. You know, creating a calming spray for when you're like in the car, and then keeping it in the car from wherever you need it, or maybe creating a spray for when you're going to travel. Maybe you have, you know, again, maybe you get sickness from flying, or maybe there's some type of anxiety, or maybe you just feel overwhelmed with all the energies around. Yeah, you can create a spray. You can create a spray for that which you need, or that which you're calling in. You know, or maybe there's a spray for, you know, upliftment, or for self-love, or for transition. Like, so much is possible. And so I hope that you all feel very liberated and feel very like you have so much choice in this, as you know, I've been sharing, that it's not that it's this one way that you have to do, or this one way that it needs to be done. No, actually there is so much available, so much that you can work with, and I hope that you have fun with this. And so that's all. That's all. Thank you so much for listening to this video. If you have any questions, or if anything wasn't clear, I know that I was getting distracted a couple times, and so it was like tripping over my words. But if there's any clarification that you all, you know, may want, just feel free to leave it in the comments, and I'll get back to you. Again, have a beautiful day and take good care. Bye.